financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is I'm disabled, and on top of that I've got student loans and tax debt. I need help. Jenny Lingl.
Hi, Ken.
Tax manager at THAV GROSS, expert.
Good to be
Are
here.
you going to help us? Are you going to help me?
I sure am.
Jeffrey Kirshner.
I can.
Disability law expert. I'm disabled. Are you going to help me?
Of course I'm going to help you.
Brian Small. I've got tax problems, student loan debt problems. Are you going to help me?
You know, Ken, I'm going to help
With our history.
I'm going to help everybody else, but I think you personally may be beyond help today.
But if my name is Don.
Absolutely, I'm going to help Don.
Don and Rita
I
are
can
our
help Rita,
fictitious
too.
clients. Okay, that's good. Don is, and let me introduce Don and Rita to you. Don is 50. Rita is 45. Don was a successful real estate broker. He was self-employed. He was making $100,000 for many years. Rita works as a decorator. She makes $60,000 a year. About a year ago, Don began and continues to suffer from severe anxiety. He can't go out of the home for more than a couple hours. He can't do any work. He's a mess. He's got some tax liabilities from 2014 to 2016. In 14, he still owes $30,000, 15, $40,000, 16, $30,000. He had anxiety about paying his taxes, obviously. He's filed his tax returns, so I know you're going to want to know that, Brian. There's more. They're 2 months behind on their house payment. They've got $60,000 of credit card debt. They owe $50,000 on a student loan. They cashed in their IRA to pay the credit cards up to this month, but there's no more money to pay the credit cards. I see 4 problems that I need you guys to help. Can Don get Social Security disability? What about the tax debt? What about the credit card debt? What about the student loan? Let's start with disability. Jeffrey Kirshner, you're the disability guru. Can Don get Social Security disability in this situation? And if so, what does he do?
Absolutely. In this particular
for anxiety?
case, for anxiety, it's typically easier if you have some sort of orthopedic problem, something that is more objective when you're looking at medical records, things of that nature. But absolutely, just for psychological issues in and of themselves, you can get benefits. If you are unable to work for 12 months or longer.
Come on. So I can all of a sudden, I've been working all this time. I've paid into Social Security. I can decide I've got anxiety, stay home, stop working, and I can go collect Social Security disability. It's that simple?
It's not that.
Everybody has anxiety.
Everyone has
If
anxiety.
you worked with Brian Small every day for 20, how many years?
20, almost 22.
22 years. Don't you think you would have anxiety?
I would
Don't
pull my
you think
hair
you
out.
would be high strung?
Yes.
No, I pulled my hair out from working with the anxiety that I got from working with Ken.
Yes. So interesting.
Not with Jenny Lingl. You'd have no anxiety.
No.
It's a roll in the park.
But
You're
absolutely,
lying.
absolutely, you can absolutely get it if you're unable to work for 12 months or longer. Now, it requires a lot of medical documentation, but as long as you have what's called insured status, you've worked at least 5 of the past 10 years or 20 of the past 40 quarters, which is interesting that you bring up paying taxes because some people who are self-employed decide that they're going to not declare taxes, they're going to hide their income. Well, if you don't pay your income, you don't pay your income taxes, you don't get credit from the government towards Social Security disability, which could harm you. But yes.
So in his case, he's not hiding. He just
No.
didn't. He filed his tax returns.
He's absolutely good. If he is unable to work for 12 months or longer, absolutely. He would go ahead and we would apply first. It takes about 60 to 90 days to get that processed. More likely than not, it's going to get denied based on a lot of reasons, mainly because the government denies over 2/3 of initial claims, plus the fact that we are dealing, in this particular instance, with purely just an emotional or psychological claim, which are much more difficult to prove because there's nothing objective. a doctor, if you have a herniated disc in your neck or back, broken bones, you can do MRIs, you can do X-rays, and 10 doctors can take a look at the same
So
films.
this is more like
and
the
see it.
opinion of the doctor versus
Correct. There's
concrete
no
evidence.
X-ray of a brain or a test of a brain that can say, well, there's your depression, there's your bipolar disorder, there's your schizophrenia. So it's much more subjective. So it does require a lot of treatment.
Do
absolutely.
you in that case sometimes have to have more than one doctor opinion to support your case, or is it if you have a good qualified doctor that's diagnosing the patient with an anxiety disorder that will work? Or do you have to add on to it?
Either, in my opinion, it's better if you've had one doctor who has a continuous history with you for several years, because that doctor will be afforded much more credibility. I mean, think about it logically. If you go to one doctor for a month, you go to another doctor, first of all, it takes a while for them to establish a history with you. If you've been to the same doctor for 2 or 3 years, that doctor knows you intimately.
got
But,
great
but
credibility.
at the
Right.
same time,
Right.
here in Don's situation, Don can't work. He's due to his anxiety. It's a relatively recent situation.
Over a year, though.
But Don has a time limit, though, to apply for the Social Security disability, doesn't he?
Well, there's not necessarily a time limit, except for insured status. You have to have worked in at least 5 of the past 10 years, 20 of the past 40 quarters. With regard to Social Security disability, though, that's a good point, is that they allow you, when you apply, if it's Social Security disability, to recapture up to 1 year of past due benefits. So if you file within that first year of being off of work, you can get all those benefits back. If it's greater than a year that you file, you can only recapture up to
So
1
you
year
really
back.
should
So you may-
file no later than 1 year after the onset of your disability.
Correct. Although I would advise people when it's the 6 or 8 month mark, you pretty much know
To
what
get
the
it
problem is
going.
to start it going, so that you have the ability to recapture all those past due benefits as well as get on monthly
So at
benefits.
this point, Don is over. He's not. He should file right away because he's been lingering with this for a year.
At this point in time, absolutely he should. We should start the initial process.
So anxiety. I want to clarify something because I was joking at the beginning. I understand anxiety as a bona fide disability and as a real problem. Panic attacks, that
Yes.
would qualify.
Absolutely.
I remember years ago when panic attacks. My wife had panic attacks back 30 years ago when it was first coming out, and I remember just saying to her, "Just stop thinking about that, and it'll go away. Don't do that. Mind over body." And for 25 years, I've been apologizing for how stupid that attitude
those ruminating
was.
thoughts are very, very
Yeah,
powerful.
it's a real thing. We'll take a break, and I want to go through the process of applying for that disability.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem. All right, so we figured out Don's situation. He's right for disability. Walk us through the process now. He's got this anxiety disorder. He's seeing the doctor. It's on a year. What does he do? Call you up, come into the office?
Yes, absolutely. Call me. You can apply on your own. You can go to local office.
If he's got so much
online.
anxiety that he can't come into the office, do you go see him?
I'd go to see him.
Okay.
I do that with clients sometimes. I prefer them to come to my office just because I have everything at my office, but I'll make house calls, or we can even set it up where I can.
Have you ever seen Better Call Saul?
Of course.
So you've got, if Don has the anxiety of leaving the house because you can't have any electronic equipment in your office, can you make it so that everything's covered?
I can do that.
This is for those people that watch Better Call
I could
Saul.
do that for you.
Okay,
but
go
I can
ahead.
also do it in certain circumstances where it's just the meeting is just impossible through email, through snail mail, either getting the enough information that I need then to go online and prepare the initial application, which is long. It's tedious to do the initial application.
That goes in, how long before you get a decision?
You're looking ballpark 90 days or so to get your initial decision.
And you figure it's going to be a denial?
Most times it's going to be denial, so absolutely.
So Don has anxiety.
Correct.
We know that. Don should be prepared for the denial so that it doesn't add to his anxiety.
I weigh out all the possibilities, but I'm going to tell him that most likely it's going to be a denial. It's not personal, it's business.
Then what happens?
Then what happens is we have a 60-day window to file a request for hearing. It's called disability appeal, which is I'll do online itself. I already have the information, so I file a disability appeal. That gets the case then to an administrative law judge, is what you want to have is a hearing.
When does that happen?
Well, in the country itself, it's about 20 months is the average. I would say around here in Michigan right now, the average is about 14 to 16 months from when you ask for a hearing to when you get a hearing.
So we're about 19 months out after the time we initially filed the application.
Ballpark 19 months out, that's correct.
Okay, then what happens?
Then what happens is we have a hearing with an administrative law judge. During that period of time, they have to give you at least 75 days notice before having the hearing. I'm able electronically to go into your entire file, look at all the records, look at all the forms. I make certain I get all the updated medical records. I write a brief on your behalf.
So is the hearing in person?
Yes. And in fact, you have the option sometimes to have a video hearing. I always object to them. Video hearings are very impersonal, and in Michigan, the office they use
got
a
to go
video.
with you to the hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. We want them at the hearing. We want an in-person hearing. I deal with these judges all the time. This is what I do. I know.
If he's shaking, that's okay.
It's expected. And most people are nervous, even if they don't have an anxiety problem. They develop anxiety.
How
just
long
as
does
a
the hearing take?
Hearings take a ballpark 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes
so
a
it's
little
not
longer.
that long.
So it depends on what's involved medically, who your judge is. So I'd say 45 minutes to an hour is about.
If I'm Don, do I have to answer questions if the judge asks me?
You're the star of the show. You are. That's why you're there.
Are you going to tell me what to say?
I'm going to prepare you ahead of time. You're going to tell the truth. You've lived your life. You know exactly
Tell
what
my
your ailments
story.
are. Exactly. But it's question and answer format. And they're open-ended questions. They're not yes or no and only yes or no. There isn't a defense attorney that's going to be there to cross-examine you to make you look like a fool or a liar. They don't have the...
So it's not that bad.
Correct. They don't have a private investigator then to show the
End of the
doctor
day,
video.
am I going to win?
If you hire me, yes. More likely than not. No guarantees.
What will my benefit be?
Well, it depends on how
I'm
much you
making
paid.
$100,000 a year.
Well,
I paid in my
your
taxes.
benefit will probably be about roughly $2,100, $2,200.
Because I need the money.
The maximum right now is a little over $2,800. The average Social Security disability award is just a little under $1,200 per month.
Right, so let's say I get $2,000 a month. How much? Now it's like 24 months since we initially applied.
Correct. So what happens is that they can find you disabled all the way back to the first date you became unable to work. There's a 5-month grace period. For the first 5 months after you become disabled, you're not entitled to benefits.
So how much money will I get?
You're talking about 18 months of back benefits at $2,000. That's 56.
36 to $40,000.
Correct.
Okay, now I want to shift. All right, so I go through this long process. I'm going to start collecting the $2,000 a month going forward. I'm going to get a big back check.
Correct.
But Brian, and Jenny, what do I do about the tax debt, the credit card debt? How do I deal with all those issues between then?
You know,
I've got 2 years before Jeff gets me my money.
You know what they say?
No.
They say
Who's they?
timing is everything.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I was wrong the first 2 times I said it. Timing is everything. They have to file the bankruptcy before they get the check.
well, we got plenty of time. Unfortunately, it's going to take him 2 years to get me my money.
Well,
Don't blame me.
Right.
Wait a minute, any faster? The system. I
but-
understand.
So what we've got here is we've got a couple of different problems.
But the 2 years I wait, I get all the back money.
That's correct, because you filed an appropriate amount of time.
So what do we do?
So they've got what, $100,000 in back taxes.
I got
that
back
are owed.
taxes.
They
I
have
got credit card debt.
$60,000 of the credit card debts and $50,000 in student loans.
And I probably got some medical bills too.
Okay, so it's kind of we're going to utilize the tools of financial crisis management in concert together to resolve this. We need to file the bankruptcy.
What does the bankruptcy accomplish?
The bankruptcy is going to get rid of the credit card debt.
60 grand gone or whatever it was.
Yep.
Fine.
The
medical
bankruptcy-
bills.
Medical bills gone.
Fine.
The bankruptcy is also going to get rid of, at this time, 1 year of tax debt.
Well, why only 1 year?
Because to discharge...
I mean, 1 year is great, but why not 3?
I would love it to be 3. We just have to wait the appropriate amount of time. To discharge a tax obligation, an income tax obligation, you have to have the tax had to have come due more than 3 years ago. The taxes had to have been filed for at least 2 years, and you couldn't have been assessed in the last 8 months.
Is he right?
He is right.
Because you're the tax expert and he's
this
talking
time.
tax.
So
Okay,
in this
but
situation,
you're the bankruptcy expert.
if we filed the bankruptcy today, well, let's just say if we filed it
next week,
after April 15th, 2018 has occurred.
Because you got to get to that 3 years.
Then the 2014 taxes will be dischargeable. For the 15 to be dischargeable, we've got to wait until April 15th, 2019.
All right. So the bankruptcy kicks out the credit card debt, the medical bills, and the tax liability for 14 because we're not going to be able to wait to 15 because we'd have to wait to April of 2019.
We might be able to.
But we need to have the bankruptcy discharged and done before you get us that $40,000.
Correct.
Okay, so that's where you're saying timing is everything. We'll be back after the break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us Tuesdays 11:30 a.m., Saturdays 7 a.m. for Law and Reality Live on Praise 102.7. Also, sign up for our free monthly contest. Go to the websites, To sign up, the winner every month gets a free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. We have a seminar coming up Wednesday, June 6th. Sunshine is Summer and Being Debt-Free. We're going to go through all the steps that we use to preserve future income for you and your family, how to eliminate debt using bankruptcy, and how to eliminate debt outside of bankruptcy. The key is that you want to eliminate the debt so that you start taking the money that you've been giving to the credit card companies and you put it into the bank and invest it for retirement. We'll have a special segment with Jeff Kirshner addressing how to address a disability claim and how to deal with a workers' comp claim. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, go to or lawandreality.com, or just call 888-235-HELP, and you can sign up for the seminar that way. We want to remind you, you can always come into THAV GROSS for a free consultation. Just go to the websites and request it. Debt issues and financial issues or estate planning issues with Brian, elder law issues with Pat Samasco, workers' comp or disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, business issues with myself. You just go and request the consult or call 888-235-HELP and sign up. Also, check out our websites. There's 3 free reports available online. You just go there and click on the links, and the report is downloaded to you. A great one on how to save your home from foreclosure, another one on Social Security with Pat Samasco. It's really worth taking a look at the free reports. Now back to the show.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
So, Brian, I'm convinced for Don and Rita. First of all, right off the bat, I'm filing my disability claim. I'm convinced I'm going to get $40,000 or so in 2 years, and then I'm going to get a couple grand a month as long as I remain disabled and this anxiety problem continues.
Right, and 30 months from being found to be disabled, you can be entitled to Medicare as well.
Good to hear. Okay. What about Rita's income? Does that stop me from filing a bankruptcy?
In this case, I mean, you look at Don and Rita, they're whether they're a family of 2 or a family of 4.
So we got 2 kids.
Even without that.
Alan and Noreen.
Even without having 2 kids, they're going to qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy on her income alone.
Okay, so I had no problem there. All right, so here's my problem now. You got rid of the medical bills, you got rid of the credit card debt, you got rid of my 2014 taxes. I still owe $70,000 in taxes from 2015 and 2016. You couldn't get rid of it in bankruptcy even though I asked you to. I've got anxiety, remember this,
I know.
and I still got $70,000 worth of taxes.
Come see me later.
So what am I supposed to do with that? Jenny, I have faith and confidence that you're going to rescue me. You tried. You did a good job. You got me almost there. You're going to get me money. I love you.
Thank you.
But you did good on the bankruptcy. It's like I feel like I'm pretending to be the president. I don't like that. Okay, but Jenny, help me out here.
Okay, so in Alan and Rita's case, what we would likely do is get them put in currently not collectible, which means that although the debt still remains, the IRS agrees that they can't afford to make any monthly payment. The reason we're going to do that is that they just cleaned out their 401k to pay off credit card debt. So the IRS will call that a dissipated asset. We need to get 3 years out from the date that they did that. Yes, that's what they did. But currently not collectible is typically good for at least 2 years. We can get to that 3 years to when we would then go ahead and file an offer and compromise.
Okay. All right, let me back it up a little bit. So there's this thing where I become currently not collectible. How does that accomplish? Do you just say, dear Mr. IRS, Don is currently not collectible, lay off of him, or how do you get that accomplished?
There's a presentation that we have to, there's forms we have to fill out, documents we have to submit.
Do I have to go to a hearing like what I do with Jeff?
Occasionally, but typically you don't actually have to go
hearing.
to the hearing. Typically that would be something your attorney would handle for you.
So you would take care of that?
Yes, absolutely. Now, if Rita starts making a lot more money during these years, she doesn't want to deal with Alan, she really goes to work. One thing we could look at is if the liability, because Alan was self-employed, relates mostly to Alan and now he's disabled. We could file for innocent spouse for Rita and have the IRS determine that she shouldn't be held liable.
Rita was getting wages, so she paid in all her taxes.
Under the theory that Alan was supposed to pay the taxes and now he's disabled and he can no longer work. And at that point, we would file an offer and compromise just on Alan's monthly disability.
Okay, after I start I'm currently not collectible, and before the offer and compromise, or while the offer and compromise is pending, the $40,000 that I'm getting that Jeff gets me in the $2,000 a month, is IRS going to say, you've got all this money, you have to pay the taxes, or are they going to recognize that this is the money I need to live off of?
Well, that's tricky. They're not going to say, go ahead and keep the money. The trick is that timing. You have to be an uncollectible before you get the money, and then there's a time period before we would file that offer, where if you look at, I usually do a formula to the IRS and say his ordinary and necessary living expenses were X amount of dollars per month. He had zero money coming in while he wasn't receiving that disability check, and then we make it work and be spent that way.
So I guess in some respects, I should have renamed this show with the word that you said at the beginning. Timing is everything in this particular case, because we have to time the Chapter 7 bankruptcy to have that concluded before you get the check for the disability, on the back disability, and we have to time the filing of the offer and compromise and the current not collectible relative to that money.
What's key about the bankruptcy is that if we could stretch it out, we can get longer to add another year. We make Jenny's job easier.
So when you come in that situation, that's where the integration of you need the disability attorney, the tax expert, and the bankruptcy attorney to all be working together to find out the right conclusion. Kind of like in a medical problem, it's always the same problem. The internist doesn't know what the specialists are doing and they make the wrong mistakes. Professionals can do the same thing. You need an integrated approach. That's where our approach is, and that's why it works. Jenny, thanks. Jeff, thanks. Brian, thanks. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Thanks for watching.